Good, how are you?
Well, welcome to War Street.
Thank you.
Revolutionary War site. The battles fought February 27th, 1776, 4 months before the signing of the Declaration of Independence. No regular army fights here. These are all North Carolinians fighting one another. This is more of a civil war than our American Civil War ever dared to be. What's going on is our royal governor, Josiah Martin, loses control of the colony in 1775. Being the first royal governor to lose control of the colony, you can imagine it didn't sit very well with him. So he quickly writes to the War Department in England and says, hey, look, send me 7,000 regular British troops, along with an additional 10,000 guns to hand out to the folks of the North Carolina backcountry, because there's folks here that don't particularly care for the Patriots, and I'm not talking about the football team. Yep. I'm talking about these folks on the other side of things, the people who've taken over. The Patriots have got their stuff together. They've started building their military. They got their spies out. They quickly figure out what the Loyalists and the governor are up to. So in mid-February, when the Loyalists are finally called up to come to the coast, the Patriots will send up a group of soldiers, mainly Minutemen, about 1,000 strong, to set up a roadblock, if you will, here at Moores Creek Bridge. Early in the morning, the 27th of February, the Loyalists will approach with 1,600 men, 1,400 of which are Highland Scots like we have here. The other 200 are poor backwoodsmen. They will attempt to take the bridge from the Patriots and fail, resulting in the first decisive Patriot victory of the American Revolution. This battle will allow North Carolina to seek out and vote on independence. North Carolina is the first American colony to do so, hence first and freedom of license plates. Gotcha. That's what these crazy North Carolinians are talking about. And it's also the last ever Highland broadsword charge anywhere in the world. And that's what makes us a national park. This battle will also effectively end royal authority in the colony forever. I got a 10-minute video in the back. Start it for you at any time. Got a timeline of the American Revolution goes around the room. I have some interactive maps. It gives you troop movements. The panels on the back wall gives you information about the battle itself. And then, of course, you can find information on the wayside exhibits outside. Along the trail, there's 6 monuments, 2 cannons. There's a reconstructed colonial bridge and a boardwalk out there. Let's see. So.
All right. Well, thank you.
Wisely chosen ground.
Oh, so that the earthworks were there.
Had to be fun to build this boardwalk, though. Especially there's potential for some alligators.
Bug spray. Bug spray is also a great idea in here. Lots of mosquitoes, lots of flies. You name it, we're gonna get eaten by it. Especially John. He's got the sweet blood.
Squirrel. See?
Sure enough. He's like bouncing all over. Wonder why he's staying on the stumps.
Probably knows better.
I don't know what's down there. I ain't taking that risk.
It's not swampy, but
Definitely reminds you of a movie. If you were going to film a movie, this would be a... Unfortunately, my GoPro is overheated, so I'm back on my cell phone. Whew, it is really hot too.
Bridge through time.
There we go. That is the bridge. It's been reconstructed though.
This is the bridge going towards the Loyalist side. I'm assuming, because behind us is where the Patriots were set up and camped, based on the signage over here. So this bridge is not original. It's been rebuilt a couple times, but it is the bridge where it stood for the battle. So when they night before, well, I don't know if it was the night before, but all the planks that go across the bridge were removed, and so they had the option to try to go across the bridge framing of it, or to go to the left or to the right into the swamp, which back then they said it was 6 feet deep, and actually their signs even posted there potentially could be still alligators here. So they had that to contend with. But this is Morris Creek Bridge.
This Moores Creek from the bridge. Oh, and there were also alligators in here too at the time, it said. So that might be a deterring factor as well. So all these planks, of course this is a remade bridge, but all the planks were gone. And all they had to walk across was the boards. And so they're maybe that wide. I could see how that would be a difficulty. Shade.
Not knowing where we're back then, depending on how the trees are. Alright, so as we're walking on the Patriot side, as we come across, I don't know if you can see through the trees right there, there's a cannon. That could be just there because historical purposes. Not sure that that's where it was originally set up. Maybe there'll be something up here telling us. But this is where I would assume the night before, actually in the morning of February 27th, 1776, that the Loyalists could see campfires. Not knowing how thick the trees were back then. These trees look like they could be from back then. But quite interesting.
All right. John says this is probably a 2-pounder cannon. It seems very small to me. I'm not sure what kind of damage it can do, but he said it'll do enough. But I don't know.
So when it refers to the pounder, it's the size of the ball that comes out of the can.
Right. But the hole is so tiny.
Yeah.
And then the ball would be...
Think about 2 pounds of light coming at you.
Right, but let's put this in perspective. Okay, so that's the hole. Just doesn't seem like it's big enough to really do that kind of damage. I guess my brain thinks movie cannonballs, the giant ones and that. So maybe that's the difference, but it just seems pretty small.
I know if I remember right, 2 pound is the smallest that they had. But think about that, a 2-pounder with chain link between them. So you stuff that in there, and that comes in there, it comes flying around.
1909 is when this was erected. On this field, the Americans won their first decisive victory over the British Isles. And though the efforts of Honorable James Fulton Moore, first resident of the Moorish Creek Battleground Association, it has become a national rallying ground for loyal revolutionary descendants and high appreciation of his services for 14 years. This shaft is erected to his memory.
So this is about the women that were actually here at the battle. It says Moores Creek Battlefield is home to one of the only women's monuments on the Revolutionary War battlefield. Many women on both sides refused to stay on the sidelines of the conflict. They made their voices heard. There were women like Penelope Parker, who organized the Eton Tea Party in 1774. She ignored the traditional role of women and led the protest against British taxes. This was one of the first major protests led by a woman. They were women like Flora MacDonald, whose loyalty and devotion were unbreakable. She rallied her fellow Scott Highlanders before Moores Creek. She paid a high price after the battle as the Patriots took her home and her husband as prisoner. Later, women captured this determined spirit. The Daughters of the American Revolution wanted to protect the Moores Creek story from being forgotten. They worked with federal officials and helped Moores Creek become part of the National Park Service in 1926. Very cool.
To the honored memory of the heroic women of the Lower Cape Fear during the American Revolution, 1776-1781. That's cool.
We just completed the Moores Battlefield.
Moores Creek
Moores Creek
Battlefield
Bridge walk. Very interesting. Of course, again, I like military history. I highly recommend coming here. Big thing is, I got to get better at doing video and talking. I get wrapped up in putting myself in the place and try to put myself in that time to imagine what it was actually like. But all in all, I did enjoy it. I do recommend it for everybody else to come and see.
Absolutely agree. Other than being very toasty and hot and humid, the experience was definitely a must-do, and I would highly recommend as well. I love the history part of it. I like the idea of seeing it with my own eyes, even though a lot of it might not necessarily be the real deal, so to speak, and just a rebuilt or a remade area, but it's still an awesome feeling to think that these people walked here and I'm standing in the same footsteps that they did.
Yep. So these are hallowed grounds. People lost their lives for the freedoms that they thought that they were defending and the life that they wanted, on both sides. Those that were loyal to the crown, and then of course those that were the patriots that wanted to break away from the crown. Again, this is the first official open battle of the Revolutionary War, which took place February 27, 1776. So if you're a big history buff, come and see this place, and then go see all you can and learn all you can about our history, Because if we don't know our history, we're going to repeat our history. So it's a cliche saying, but I'm pretty sure that it's a very true saying.
100% agree.
All right. So this is in closing of this. No, we're not closing this.
Well, you do you.
We plan on getting better at doing this. It's just about repetition and getting comfortable in front of the camera.
You guys hanging in there with us.
Yeah, so like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already been. Hit the notification bell because we plan on doing a whole lot more. And then, like everybody says, it helps the YouTube algorithm. If it doesn't go past 4 or 5 people, so be it. We're not out here to try to make $1 million, but to share experiences and memories.
Exactly. All right.
All right. Until the next adventure.
Make sure you get out there and live your dash with no regrets.
Yep. 100%. All right. We'll see you on the next one. We're not closing this?
Well, you do you. We have the power of editing. So.
We do have the power of editing. So, again, we're new to the channel. Yeah, it's our channel. It's new, of course.